Hi, this is David Arkin with Check Out DFW. I'm here with John Butcher from the Butcher Group and Ebby Holiday Realty. How you doing today, John?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. So
Good.
today we are going to be talking about that crazy real estate market. Everybody says it's so crazy, and I want to talk a little bit about why it's so crazy, and probably most importantly, if you're a buyer or seller, what you can do in this crazy market to have the success that you want to have. So we will kind of talk through all those topics today with John. So John, let's just sort of start off and let's kind of scene set a little bit. Just tell me what you're seeing in the market right now, and what's going on.
I don't think there's a better word for it than crazy. I mean, it is what it is at this point in time, and we're just trying to navigate as best we can through this. The year over year inventory is down, and then last year, whenever it started heating it up, that year over year inventory was about the same, so it's stable. But we've had an influx of buyers, which is causing all of this, mess, craziness.
Yeah, so the competition is really being driven by basically, this huge number of people that want homes versus, kind of like a shortage of inventory, right?
Correct. And we're in one of the markets, we're in one of the greatest markets to be in, Dallas-Fort Worth. Job markets are great. Happiness level is really good. People that can work at home, now they can be further and further away from the actual job site. We know people that, hey, headquarters are in Seattle, but they're choosing to move somewhere else where, it might be better to raise the family, where they don't need private schools, or whether, better weather, or whatever the case may be.
And what are people saying when they move here, or when they kind of come here? Are they sort of, blown away with, what they're sort of experiencing here in terms of, the real estate? Are they kind of surprised by the situation here when you start working with people?
They are surprised. Everybody across the country thinks that, oh my gosh, DFW is just so affordable. That's why we want to go there. And it still is, pound for pound, for sure. A few years back, we kept getting, man, I thought everybody had horses here, so we've gotten over that piece of it. But pound for pound, it's still affordable for a major metropolitan area. It's just grown at a level that we have more demand than we have supply, and people don't want to be in the apartment anymore, and the rental rates have gone way up. So again, it's the perfect storm for if you're shopping for a house and you want to be a certain payment, that payment puts you in a certain zone for a house, and now it's you and 82 others bidding on the same 8 houses.
Right. So do you have any, it's sort of a hard crystal ball question, but any sense on how long you think that sort of trend is going to last here?
So year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was talking to a group of developers, and they had kind of already predicted, hey, we're going to struggle for a while. And this is before COVID. And they said, you know what, we don't have enough lots, land, cut, developable money to do it from the city infrastructure for 5 years. And that was 2 years ago. So it's not going to slow down anytime soon. And then you have the supply chain mess, right, which has caused builders to not be able to build at a full capacity. We've relied on them for years to help us out of, the logjam, where builders used to be able to build 5 to 8 starts a month. Now they're able to start 2 to 4, maybe, right, depending on the neighborhood and those kinds of things. So
that's a tough situation. So if you're a buyer, I mean, you must be playing a little kind of part-time therapist here, I'm assuming, in terms of, how frustrating that must be. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to kind of work with buyers today, and kind of what you kind of tell them and coach them through this process.
Well, it's full-time therapist, not part-time.
Fair enough.
I mean, it is. And it's, these sweet buyers, hopefully they've got a little bit of cash backing somewhere, somehow. Maybe they sold a house somewhere else and they've got some cash. Maybe they've got some great savings. Maybe they've got, some family money somewhere, because that's really the helpful piece to get them where they need to go. But we start from the very beginning saying, hey, look, the time is now. All right. And let's, we've got a 3 to 4 month plan. Don't expect, hey, if we win the first weekend, awesome. But don't fret, more are coming out, more are coming every week, And so we strategize with them and try to teach them, all right, if we can catch a house that goes on Monday or Tuesday, it's going to be less popular than something that goes online on Thursday or Friday, just because not as many people can get out to see that house, as they can on a weekend. And so if they can get off work and come with us and, hey, let's put a bid in and basically help the seller go, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Let's put a deadline for Wednesday at 5 p.m. It's much better than a Sunday night at 6 o'clock where, you're competing with 30, 40, 50 offers.
Wow. Have you ever experienced a time when you've been dealing with 30, 40 or 50 offers before?
Oh yeah. We've had them on our listings, and I've been involved with one where they had over 80 offers. And you know what? You just can't compete at that level. And sometimes you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to be a good buyer's agent right now because you're giving them advice to pay over what you could prove the value is.
Yeah.
Right. Which is hard to do in my soul, but I do know that, the rising tide, raises all ships. And so your house is going to bump your house's numbers up as well. And so that next one's going to go higher. That next one's going to go higher. And now that we can see, 3, 4, 5 years down the road that, hey, this log jam isn't stopping, you know what? Everybody's going to be safe. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. So that process of that many offers, hard for the buyer to sort of get their head around that, but probably challenging for the seller to just kind of go through that, and you help them figure out, what does all this mean, right?
Yes. So we advise our sellers to move out for the weekend and just let it go, right? Go. Don't even worry about it. Get the house ready. Go to a hotel, have a staycation, treat yourself to, I promise you're going to make more money than you thought you were, go to the Ritz and stay. You'll be fine. Right. It is maddening for them. And those who will listen, they win, right? Those who fight the system a little bit, those are the ones that get a little frustrated. They're like, I want it back in my house, cut it off now. Right. And so, it's okay. We're adaptable. We try to make sure that everybody's happy as they can possibly be.
Yeah. So from a seller's perspective, it's obviously a good time to sell. That's like the most obvious headline of 2022 so far. But some people are on the fence on that. Where are they going to go? What's their offer process going to be like? Whatever it might be. What do you kind of tell people today that are on the fence about potentially selling and why they should take that leap?
If you have a place you can go, right? If you've got a rental property that the renter's coming up and you want to move into that temporarily, and then you want to contract on a new build, or you want to figure something out for your next thing, cashing out is the way to go. Now, we do believe the numbers will continue to go up, but as it loosens a little bit, it's not going to have the 20% increase. It might have the 2%, 3%, 4% more normal increase in pricing value. And competition will get more and more fierce with more people understanding, okay, it's time for me to sell. I'll go move back in with mom and dad. Or there's people that have contracted a year ago for a house or 6 months ago for a house that's going to be ready in 2 or 3 or 4 months. So if they can get temporary housing, or if you can stand the apartment life or the luxury high-rise life, we've got properties at the 12 at the Star in Frisco. It's a great way to live for a year while you build your house or find the next step. Luxury at its finest.
Yeah. Wow. Anything else you want to add here in terms of what you're seeing in the market?
So I think we need to be cautious a little bit with some of the buyers. Several factors, right? I think buyers need to be cognizant of who they're working with, right? One, you want somebody who's going to hustle for you, going to be on it. 2, I think in my opinion, being part of someone with a team is helpful, because we all want to say, hey, we're 24 hours a day, we're there for whenever, however. But you know what? We may have 4 clients we're working with, right? So what if this one and this one and this one want to see it at the same time? We've got to have help and backup to be able to go see it and get all that squared away, right? 3, we got to look at the interest rate situation, right? So the interest rates this week, it's a big subject, right? Now we're in the 4s. I mean, which is not bad at all. Everybody thinks, oh my God, we're in the 4s. Oh, it's, but that's going to change your buying power, right? Yeah. So if you were qualified up to, 400 at 3.5, now it's, 385, right? So there's a difference there.
Yeah.
So we got to be cognizant of that. But I think you need somebody that knows the market, knows the area, and is well versed with other agents, because like it or not, people are human. And when, I go show a listing of a buddy of mine's house, and it may not be a buddy, just a friend, acquaintance, or whatever, but if he knows me, I'll be like, hey, hey, Joe, hey, make sure you show a little love, that we're going to be great buyers and you've worked with us before and you know us, right? It's beneficial, because yes, sellers want the highest amount they can for the house, but they also want closability. They don't want to go through this for 4 weekends and have homes bust out and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love the tip you offered there from, buyers about thinking about the right days of the week to go that aren't going to have as much going. It's a great tip, a really useful one. And your last point on the realtors is that, it's really the value of, when we hear it over and over again, what you can't do on your own, and, the connections, like you just sort of mentioned, but also just the knowledge base of the market and people on their own thinking, what they think they know, and realtors helping them through that process. You just hear more and more. And right now in this market, it seems like more and more every day you're hearing that.
Agreed. And I think on top of that, I think that if you'll get with a local lender that will work when your agent works or when you need it, it's huge, right? Because they can give you a vote of confidence on that backside if they'll call that agent at 2:00 on Sunday for you, right?
Yeah.
I promise you that big box, Quicken and those guys, I guarantee they're not going to call for you, and reassure them.
Yep, absolutely. Well, John, it was awesome. This is really, I think, really useful for people. I mean, I think you're giving people information they can use in a sense of the market in a way that only someone like you can. So I want to thank you so much for your time today. You can read more of John's insights on checkoutdfw.com. Under our helpful DFW section. Every month, John answers a different question that we get from you, our readers. And, last month he answered one on home warranties and, the good and the bad of those and who they're right for. So he's answered at least a half dozen questions at this point, and you can find all that content right there. So John, I want to thank you so much for taking part, and we'll do this again soon.
Thanks, David. I appreciate you, man. Be good.
Bye.